This is Eli Prince Perez, LiveInTheRing.com.
My name's Joseph Diaz, and you're with Leave It in the Ring Radio.
How you doing? You're with Abner Mares, and you're right here with Leave It in the Ring Radio.
Hi, this is Giovanni Segura, and you're on Leave It in the Ring Radio.
This is Tim Bradley, and you're on LiveItInTheRing.com.
This is Joseph Kinkon Abdeko. I'm right here with Leave It in the Ring Radio.
And welcome to the next round on the Leave It in the Ring Radio network of one David Duenas. I'm your co-host, Steve K9 Kim, and joining me, as always, from the beautiful city of San Francisco, Golden Gate, Gabe Montoya. If you want to call in, 347-215-7598. Once again, 347-215-7598. We'll take your calls in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, let's get to a couple of tweets. Andy Finlayson, our European correspondent, says, guys, did you see Katsidis on Saturday? What did you guys think of his overall career? Hopefully it's the end. Gabe, me and you had made it very clear. We thought it was a bad idea, just like Jermaine Taylor. He shouldn't be fighting, and then he got starched by Tommy Coyle. Here's what I think of Katsidis. I think he's kind of like a lesser, poor man's version of Arturo Gatti. Very exciting, fan-friendly, blood and guts, passionate fighter. But with that style, he was always going to have a pretty short shelf life.
Yeah, I was pretty saddened, to be honest, watching it. I just, and he actually looked pretty good. He was out there moving, and I think Arturo Gatti is a good example, because even towards the end of his career, Arturo was still able to bounce and move his upper body, and you kind of go, okay, the reflexes are there, but the punch resistance isn't. I actually thought before he got caught with that left hook that put him down, and it was kind of a weird reaction too. It was a very delayed reaction, it seemed. He got caught with a right hand before that, about 30 seconds before that, and was kind of hiding it by being aggressive. But the punch resistance is gone, and I think I don't want to say, but it's kind of speculation, but I think it's just about the money at this point. And I think too, Mick is a guy that you both you worked out with him, I've worked out with him, and been around him and up close. He loves to fight. This is what he loves to do, is train and get out there and compete. And it's hard to let go, but that's why we have regulators, and I think it's that time.
Gabe, here's an interesting question from RFBox. Guys, if you could choose the result of one fight in the fall schedule, what would it be? For me, it's Kovalev KO Hopkins. Gabe, I couldn't agree more. I think Kovalev winning this particular fight would be the best possible result for the business of boxing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, it's sort of like when Winky Wright beat Trinidad and when Hopkins beat Trinidad. And I felt that it was better for the business of boxing if Trinidad had won. I think there was better fights to be made, more action, exciting fights that bring more people in. Instead, we got the fights that Hopkins gave us, which weren't always that scintillating. And Winky Wright seemed to also get a lottery ticket that he didn't really quite cash. Kovalev is an exciting guy. He's a bigger version of Golovkin. He makes great quote, just like Golovkin does, and he also makes great KO highlight reels. And does it in ways that are like, really, a jab? You knock the guy out with a jab? He's just dude, I think. And I really like John David Jackson as well in this, as a trainer to come up. It's a good personality, hell of an interview, very smart man. I think it's a very crucial fight for boxing. It'll hurt Golden Boy a bit, but I don't think they rise and fall with Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, listen, any promotional company who ties its future into a 49-year-old fighter has no future. That's the bottom line. Here's a tweet from the president. The president, Andrew V. Kennedy, Ray Mancini, said, Gennady Golovkin might be looking to get out in a couple of years. Think that's true, especially if he grows in popularity. Gabe, hasn't Golovkin made it very clear he's got 4 more years at 4 more fights, and then he wants to call it a day?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's it's a young man's game. I think it's the smart guy understands that look, I need to get where I need to go as fast as possible, maximize my earning potential. I don't want to be hanging around this game because I have to, all the greats, all the smart people in the world, they make their money so that they can kind of call their shots. It's always just sad. I mean, look at this last weekend. We had Michael Grant, Michael Grant's in his 40s. The sport will eat you up. Michael Katsidis shouldn't really have been fighting.
David Rodella.
Woo, just
yeah. And now
listen. At all.
And listen, we're going to have Jose Luis Castillo, I think, be basically shipped to Russia for a televised execution against Ruslan Provodnikov. And it's one of my favorite lines. Boxing doesn't give gold watches to old fighters for their retirements. They give them beatings, and that's one of the unfortunate realities of this brutal business. Here's one from Joshua. Can you talk about the Ward Rocnation rumors and Canelo Cotto versus Floyd for May 2nd? Who gets it? Gabe, Andre Ward, Rocnation, I'm hearing the rumors. I've been told that there's been no contact between Rocnation and the company that currently holds his promotional rights, which is Dan Goosen's company, which is still up and running and scheduling shows. So, but by the way, what is Rocnation's plan here? First of all, I've read reports that they offered a lot of money for a multi-fight deal for Guillermo Rigondeaux. Now they're supposedly interested in Andre Ward. So, Gabe, here's what I know about Rocnation, that their game plan seems to be to try to sign up every malcontent in the world that's not exactly fan favorites or fan-friendly and overbidding on purse bids. By the way, Gabe, they don't have a single show under their belt yet? What is their plan?
Yeah. I don't understand. It's very strange. I can't even come up with a metaphor for how odd it is. But it's like, they keep kind of inviting themselves to parties and offering to pay, and everybody's kind of ignoring them.
Then the cops, hey Gabe, then the cops in the form of Al Heyman knock on the door, break it up, everyone go home.
Seriously, I think you look at Mike Tyson. Look at Oscar De La Hoya. It was hard for Sugar Ray Leonard, and I'm not exactly sure why his company failed, promotionally. But Oscar, I think, succeeded because he was able to subsidize his company with his own fights, and he was the number one guy after, when Tyson was gone. And number one guy for many, many years. He carried this sport on his back, and I think so. So in this sense, Tyson kind of has that same cachet. I think he's doing very well as a promoter, kind of, building from the bottom and slowly kind of getting into better positions, getting better talent, and developing it. Rock Nation and like 50 Cent, they have no cachet in the sport. No one has any respect for them. At the end of the day, De La Hoya is still De La Hoya and Tyson's still Tyson, and we respect them. Rock Nation's going to have to do more than what they're doing in order to gain any sort of.
I mean, if you go back, they made statements that we plan to do a couple of shows this year. And obviously the Quillen thing blew up right in their face. But as of right now, you look at the way the schedule is playing out for the rest of the calendar year, I don't see where they can do a show. And in fact, Gabe, they don't have any fighters under contract. That's kind of an issue. And as for Canelo Cotto versus Floyd Mayweather for May 2nd, I've been told that they're going to go right into Canelo Cotto negotiations, that those have already begun, cursory talks, okay, at the very, very beginning. And there will be no tune-ups. They're going right into that fight. And, Gabe, I don't think there's any doubt that everyone involved from both sides, Golden Boy, Top Rank, and, of course, HBO, they are looking squarely at May 2nd as a takeover. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I think it is. That's a coming soon article, the takeover. I think, it's on. I think, we're going to find out what Floyd's got because he's been the only game in town for a while. But, Canelo has shown that he's a little bit bulletproof. He has the loss. It's a close fight with Lara. I think the brand is still very strong. Combined with Cotto, it's not out of the realm of possibility that if promoted right, this could do $2 million. This could break some records. It's an epic fight. They could do it a couple times. I mean, it's that big, and so I'm excited to see what the landscape. Boxing has changed so much in the last couple of years. I don't think it's quite done. To see Bob and Oscar together again and to do a successful promotion, especially if Oscar's guy comes out on top, it's going to be an exciting thing for boxing. It's going to be all positive.
Another tweet before we go back to the phone lines. If you want to call in, 347-215-7598. Here's one from Stony Stone. is the Andre Charlo fight officially signed? According to Artie Palulo, yes. No matter what Demetrius Andrade said over the internet this past weekend, my understanding is from Mr. Palulo, that fight is signed, sealed, and delivered for December 13th at the Mandalay Bay on Showtime. Here's a tweet from A. Flores. Steve, you were right. Andy Ruiz was laying low to transform his body. WTF. What happened to Frankie Gomez fighting Tomas Delorme? Well, we'll get to that first. Frankie Gomez is trained by Freddie Roach, who is working with Lucien Bute. Bute has a fight December 6th, which made that a logistical nightmare because Freddie Roach can do a lot of things. Cloning himself, unfortunately, is not one of them. And, Gabe, Andy Ruiz, I'm telling you this right now, he has more natural ability than a lot of heavyweights. I think he's a much more naturally gifted fighter than Chris Arreola, but believe it or not, he might have less discipline than Arreola. I didn't think that was possible. His body looked terrible again this past weekend on Uno Mas.
Yeah, it was like they were giving him pizza between rounds. It was like, it's just like what are they doing in the gym? It's like they're just squirting lard right into him. How do you show up that much fatter than your last fight when you're already a fat guy? Like he's always going to be pushing it. He's kind of like Chris. He's never going to be body beautiful. But dude, I mean, it was sloppy. It was just really sloppy, and he was lucky that the guy that he was facing wasn't exactly Captain Svelte himself. And he just couldn't get out of the way. He's got fast hands, nice combinations, seems to really know what he's doing in there, very good, command of the ring. What's up with his conditioning? I don't get it.
Gabe, if you look at the way he fights, the fluid combinations, the hand speed, and the fact he knows how to relax. He's not one of those muscle-bound guys that looks like Tarzan and has the cardiovascular capabilities of Jane. It's really a shame that he can't focus and have the general discipline to lose just 25 pounds from that frame. And, Gabe, it's not like he works another job. There is no excuse. Every day he wakes up, he's not going to a factory. He's not working in a cubicle. You're a professional prize fighter, and I don't know what Top Rank's going to do because they did shelve him for a spell, basically telling him, hey, you got to get in shape. And it's that old line from Damon Wayans in Great White Hype. He is in shape. He's round.